a different sort of video for everybody today. The first collaboration on the channel. We're here with Azri.
My name is Azri.
Introduce yourself, mate, go for it.
So I am now a 4th year medical student and I study in Bulgaria. I'm 21 years old, been training for about 6 years now, I'd say, and me and Tom's met up at the gym. We train at the same gym in Pure Gym Bucks. Just got a big shoulder session in today.
Just smashed it. Yeah. So you're now just getting into fitness modeling, yeah?
No, I wouldn't say that. No. I mean, I wouldn't call myself.
He's being modest. He's definitely modest.
I wouldn't say any of that. I literally just take pictures for Instagram, basically, and I've done like photo shoots here and there, but nothing nothing too serious. I'm not taking it up as a career or anything like that.
That you know of yet?
No.
Anyway, I'll put his Instagram on the screen here anyway if you want to go and check him out. But yeah, just wanted to ask you a few questions really for everybody who's watching, to give them a good idea on the sort of things that you'll be doing for training, nutrition, especially building up to things like a photo shoot. Like what's your diet like?
So it's very, very similar year round, and the idea of it is mainly to stay in good enough condition in reaching distance of being ready for a photo shoot, basically. If within at about 2 weeks notice, or even 1 week notice, as in most of the time it is me just doing like a peak week kind of situation as soon as I find out about it, because I usually only have like a week's notice. But I usually do stay quite low body fat year round, which isn't exactly optimal for increasing significant muscle mass in the shortest period of time, but it does give me flexibility in how I can look within a very short period of time. As in, with a peak week, I would try and dry out and cut out my water as an extra cellular water as quickly as possible, and I do that with manipulating different variables such as carbohydrates, sodium, potassium to an extent, and actual water intake. So that's what I would. He
definitely knows a lot more than I do. This is definitely decent content. But so how does? But when you're trying to get lean for a photo shoot, though, your training must suffer because of it, though, when you're low calories. I know mine does. And when I'm in low calories, even if I have a good workout, I know that the rest of the day is going to be bad, and vice versa, because when you're in low cal, you just can't sustain it. And so if you've got to do that constantly, that must be difficult. It
significantly suffers, but I genuinely don't have like a ridiculous amount of shoots within short periods of times like I have done the past few weeks. This is a different circumstance. It's not like I have this situation year round. It's mainly because I'm on my summer holidays and I have a bit more of a break. But it's not as like hard in the quantity of shoots that I do within a short period of time. So but it's not like they're all like serious, as in they're not all like extremely serious for me to prep for, as in like I don't need to go all out for every single one of them kind of thing. As in I don't need to deplete all the way for some of them. So it's not the same situation for every single one. But yeah, training definitely suffers. Especially in the days where I'm depleting carbs leading up to it before I load up. That is extremely hard mentally and obviously physically.
So when you know you've got a photo shoot coming up, how soon do you start to prep? Like, so let's say, because it could be alright, they could ring you up and say, oh, we need you for tomorrow, so you've got to be prepared. But let's say you get given advance notice for when a photo shoot's going to happen. How you know, at what stage do you start going, okay, right, I need to cut carbs at this point, or my calories need to be this, and protein should be, I mean, how do you build it up?
Okay, so usually 7 days out I assess where I'm at, like in terms of how much water I'm holding extracellularly and how much I need to deplete, and that's where I'll try and decide how low I need to drop back my sodium and carbs. And it's usually 4 days out from the shoot where I completely start trying to go into ketosis and
so you cut all carbs completely
for 3 days leading up to, 4 days before it, I literally go zero carbs. When actually, no, I wouldn't say zero carbs. I still have trace. I don't go into keto, so I have trace carbs with my vegetable intake, which is minimal. I can't say it's like as significant as it is year round with my vegetable intake. I still have that in there, but all my extra sources of carbs from oats and like more like fruits and stuff come out. All my sugary fructose carbs come out, and all my starchy carbs come out. I mean starchy carbs as in from non-vegetables. And then it's just higher in carbohydrates and proteins and fats, and that's usually the fats usually substitute some of the carbs which I've cut out. But yeah, and then I load up about 2 p.m. the day before, depending on what time the shoot is the next day. And then on the day it will be mainly just simple carbs and a bit of fats to maintain.
Like what would you have for simple carbs?
So it would usually be stuff that sits well in my stomach. For me, that's usually rice cakes, actual cooked rice. But if I do need to cut water significantly, I won't have wet carbs, as in I won't have like oats or like I know oats are
yeah
complex,
but it just goes to show though, like I think when people look unbelievable, like I always look at like Zac Efron in the Baywatch film. He looked amazing, and like when you're ready for your photo shoot you look unbelievable, but you don't feel as good as you look, do you, when you're that lean? I know everyone wants to look like that, and you think, oh, I'll look amazing when I'm on the beach and have that sort of body. That's just another level, and it actually, it's not healthy, is it? It's definitely not healthy.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't recommend doing this again and again at all. As in, this is like, I'm talking about peaking for a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
This isn't year round. I maintain like a healthy, lean body fat percentage, which is manageable year round, and it's not something I suffer significantly with, because my diet is set up in a way which I don't need to binge, and I don't need to have any cravings constantly mentally or anything like that. It's clean, but it's something I've gotten used to, and it's something that I track and I maintain, so if I need to make any substitutions I can do so with peace of mind, basically. So it's peaking for a shoot isn't something I do. And
in terms of your
repeatedly
in your training, so obviously we've just done a hypertrophy session where we've been lifting weight stuff. As everybody knows, I try to do as much body weight as possible, just because I prefer it, and you can do it anywhere, as you all know. But for you, your style of training, you always do it in a gym? I mean, do you do any body weight stuff? What's your plan? Do you follow a plan?
If I do body weight stuff, it's still in the gym, but it will be tailored more to my program in the gym, as in I will try and progressively overload in terms of weighted pull-ups or weighted dips kind of thing. It will always be towards progression, unless it's like, for example, unless it's on a superset, on an isolation exercise, but it won't be a sole basis. It won't be like a staple for a training session, as in body weight won't be what carries me through a whole workout kind of thing. But I can see that any exercise that stimulates a specific muscle will in turn help growth, but the extent which I believe you can grow that muscle is determined by how much you can progressively overload that stimulus. So yeah, I do think there is space for improvement, but the speed of improvement is very dependent on, I think, weight in the end.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it's sort of like, that's the easiest way to create overload, isn't it? Is to just add more weight. And when you're using body weight, as I keep sharing on the channel, is that and this is why I enjoy it more, is because the progressions and the way you create overload is, you have to be more creative. So you have to do things like negative reps and supersets, and I know these are all things that you do with weights and dumbbells and things like that, but the way in which you go about it, I just find it a bit more enjoyable sometimes. Although, as we said earlier, lifting weights definitely has its, but like if you're a bodybuilder and the only thing you're interested in is building bigger muscles, then weights is the only way to go. I wouldn't recommend doing bodyweight for someone who is just wanting to do bodybuilding, because you're expending too much energy on stabilizing yourself and all these sorts of things. So yeah, I mean, if you're obviously your goal is, well, I guess your goal isn't just size, is it? Your goal is I mean, how much focus do you put on the things like symmetry? Obviously being lean is very important, so your diet is
for me, like, health is a massive factor, as in, like, I know I'm a young age to be thinking of like just simply cardiovascular health and internal organ health, but it is something that I base a lot of my diet around a lot of my training is based around longevity, as well as in a lot of my work with joints and joint mobility and joint health, as well as how my diet supplements my health. It's a massive factor in how I structure my diet. But in the end, obviously, the aim of bodybuilding, as you call it, is always going to be building more muscle tissue, and the speed at which that happens might be more might be a bit more detrimental if you do what I do, in terms of maybe trying to stay a bit leaner year round. But there's no reason why you can't follow what I do in terms of having every healthy aspect but still going into a bit of a surplus. I don't think you need a significant surplus. You don't need a significant surplus to build muscle tissue. There's a point where you are just putting on fat, and I don't think a lot of people realize they are genuinely just fat in their offices.
I think when a lot of people they look at the scales, and then it's because you can only build muscle at a certain rate, and when you first start in the gym, you can build muscle really, really quickly, and the more advanced you get, it slows down and the rate of change is much, much less, and just adding more calories is not gonna build your muscle. It just gets to a point where you're just adding fat. Exactly.
Like, do you need a cheat meal? I mean, take your shit off, you're fat. Like, you do not need a cheat meal. Like, you haven't been in a significant deficit, you haven't been suffering enough to need a cheat meal in the first place. But apparently everyone every Sunday needs 50 pancakes because they saw The Rock do it on Instagram.
That's true. And understanding, okay, right, for you and for what you're doing, you need to do X, rather than going, oh, I've seen this on Instagram, this bloke who's been training for 15 years and he's like 16 stone of muscle, I'm going to follow the same diet as him. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's easy to forget that they have a lot more muscle maturity than the majority of people.
And absolutely. And you don't know what they're taking, you don't know what their lifestyle's like. There's so many different things. It's better to do your research, and as we were talking about earlier, actually, with the trial and error that you've been through, to understand your body in terms of how quickly you can put on body fat, how hard it is to say certain body fat percentage. I mean, you've been, how long is it taking you to understand
genuinely about 4 or 5 years. Like, literally, it was changing calories in the 100, like by 100, up and down, to see how significant of a deficit I need to drop body fat, and how much muscle. Obviously, when it comes to cutting, the aim is not just to drop as much body fat as possible, it's also to maintain muscle mass, because you have you need to balance those two out, or you're gonna end up losing a lot more muscle mass than you need to. But it's been very, very difficult finding the balance which I need to drop also in terms of macronutrients as well, finding out exactly what I need to drop and what responds best for my body in terms of going into a surplus and going into a deficit. But what I do does not we were talking about this earlier, does not have to be as meticulous as it needs to be for nearly everyone. This is what I've come across which works for me, and this is what I stick to. But you're in a surplus, you're going to put on mass. If you're in a deficit, you're going to lose mass. You're going to lose mass, whether it's body fat, muscle. Your goal will get there quicker if you're in a deficit or in a surplus. But what I do is tailored to what I found works, and it's been a long period of time.
And what would work for you won't necessarily work for somebody else.
Exactly.
Anyway, this video is now getting really long, but thank you for coming on the channel. So there's gonna be more from Azri, definitely on this channel. If you have any questions for him, then leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you on those. Give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button, especially if you've seen more than one of my videos. It means you do like them, so please subscribe. It will help everybody out massively. So yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.